Welcome to a brand new episode of Sequel Rights, the podcast where we take a look at the franchises that make you go, they made how many of those? And we give each and every sequel a fair trial. My name is Jordan Kamps, and I'm here with
Elizabeth Helly
and
Tyler Hammonson.
And we are back again this week to deal with another Bring It On film.
Bring it on again.
Bring It On, All or Nothing. But before we even get into that, we can't. We've had another week of protests out in the world. Another week of people, getting out there trying to make their voices heard, and we want to make sure that our listeners are taking the time to support the Black Lives Matter movement any way they can as well. So please, once again, we'll be posting links in our show notes and on our socials and everything to please do whatever you can to donate, voice your opinion, help out.
Donate, protest, communicate, anything that you can do, everything that you do. I won't say everything, but most things that you do help.
Yeah, who knows? We record a week out, so by the time you're hearing this, maybe we'll live in a post-racial, post-police state society.
Well, yeah.
I guess there's a slight chance that all those things could happen.
Yeah, we've already seen some things happening because of the protests, like Eliz said, we record a week early, so who knows what will have happened.
I have a prediction that we haven't done enough, and in a week's time we will still have not done enough, and we still keep doing more.
Yes, exactly.
Anyway, feel free to email us your thoughts about these Bring It On movies or anything you want to say to sequelrights@gmail.com, or find us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, or YouTube at Sequel Rights.
Usually this is the part where I tell you to go rate and review us on Apple Podcasts, but this week, just like last week, I think that either go make a donation, go retweet something, go do something to support the Black Lives Matter movement, and we'll be here when you're done doing your duty.
That's right. We'll be here talking about another Bring It On movie just for you guys. We're keeping the train rolling here. Okay, well, let's get into it. Let's get into another of these.
Brittany Allen is the most popular girl in school, captain of the cheerleading squad.
Good job, guys. Let's do that one more time.
And soon to be prom queen. But her life is about to change because she's moving across town.
Oh, hold on now.
What is this, LAX? Do you have any organic greens? Yummy.
Where nobody likes her.
Hey guys, Brittany sent a video.
Hayden, what are you doing? What are you doing?
There could not be a worse time for us to be watching this movie. I mean, I guess there could, but it's pretty bad. I hear your your exhaustion, like you guys saying another one of those, but like if it weren't in this moment, and if like it's only the third movie, like we're normally not that exhausted yet.
Yeah.
But the way this movie deals with race and culture is just so awful that it's like, wow, this is the worst time to watch this film.
And the last one wasn't nearly as bad.
The last one was like post-racial. Like it didn't even acknowledge who was any race.
Yeah. This one is like there's a character whose sole goal is to like say as many racial jokes, quote unquote jokes and slurs as much as possible in this movie.
Yeah,
basically.
Everything's kind of played for a cheap joke or a laugh.
I mean, she is a villain. It's clearly,
I guess. Yeah,
the movie has like the overall message, but every way that it tries to execute it is like bad.
Ela, is this the one that you said that you had heard good things about?
Yeah, because I guess it was pretty popular on TV, and so there are people out there that this is like the Bring It On movie for them. And I mean, like, I know that what was this, 2006?
Yeah, 2006.
Yep.
In 2006, I probably would have been like, this is kind of cringy, but I don't think I honestly don't think I would have thought that it was as bad as I think it is right now if I saw it then, because that kind of thing was just more common back then, you know, for good or for bad. It would bad, but you know, it was a long time ago.
You're probably right.
I mean, I think that's true. And I mean, and obviously Rihanna and Solange read the script and decided to be involved. And so there's not it's hard to look back on some of these things and have them be like, is it, how bad was it at the time? I think that it's, I guess in some ways the way that I can say this is that of everything that's crass and just how awful this movie feels shows that we've come a long way.
Exactly.
Then, and it's not nearly far enough. And I don't want to. Yeah, I guess.
Well, I felt terrible watching this movie. I felt terrible watching.
In a way, the movie is almost like a time capsule of where the line was, because when they go like, "Oh no, that's too far. You're racist. Like this is bad." That's where the line used to be.
Yeah, they do call out a character, and they're like, that's racist. Yeah,
they do. And there are multiple things where it's not cool, and so that's where the line was in 2006 for some people. For mainstream culture,
for white screenwriters.
Yes. Now pretty much all of it is across the line, and that's good because that means the line has moved.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, but we can get into it. It's sad. Like you can't look at this movie without the racial aspect, but if it were possible, I don't really think it's that bad. Like just as a movie, if you somehow took out that, which is not possible, like I said, but
I mean, it has everything that you want in a Bring It On movie. A dream sequence that start the movie.
Oh God. So let's just briefly. There's a few things I wanted to touch on in this movie, and the opening dream sequence is one of them. It went on for so long that I was like, "Is this actually happening?" Mm-hmm. And it was horrifying for multiple reasons. There's, for this movie that's about cheerleading, that is all about rhythm and, dancing to the beat, on the beat and everything. There's several moments in this movie, especially in this opening, where they're doing like a rhythmic cheer that is totally out of like off beat and everything. It's like cringe. I couldn't handle it.
It doesn't even rhyme.
Yeah, it doesn't rhyme. There's too many syllables in some of the cheers in the beginning, and like it's totally out of time, out of tempo. Like when Hayden Panettiere says, some of the stuff she says in the opening, it's just like, couldn't they? Was that her best take? And they just kind of went with it. There's sometimes where you can hear the music dip down in the background because I think people were like, "Ooh, it sounds so off there. Let's turn it down for a second." That really made me mad.
Yeah, it's not.
That was only one of the things.
Although that this movie does have a better music budget, I also didn't realize that Weezer song was that old.
Yeah. Well, I was like going through this movie. It's like hit song after hit song after huge song, and I'm like, I know this is straight to video. Like, the fact that Rihanna is in there, I wonder, like, they must have had some deal with. There were like a lot of Universal Records tracks in there, so I was like, I wonder if they had some sort of blanket deal with them, or I don't know.
Or I wonder if it was almost like a thing where Rihanna had something in some contract to be in a movie, and then so this was the first time, and then she got Battleship.
Yeah, and she was like, I want Weezer to be in this movie with me, and All American Rejects.
Yep.
But yeah. What else? I was gonna say I looked it up, and apparently there's no Britney, California. So that trope is immediately dead.
We do briefly see her dad, sequel rights alumnus from the Major League series.
Yeah.
I don't know the actor's name, but he's the catcher.
Was he in Major League?
He was the catcher.
He's like the dumb guy.
Yeah, the dumb guy who is in 2 and 3.
Well, he looks real creepy in this movie. I was like, is her dad a molester? Because he looks horrible.
I was also like, is that her mom or her sister? I don't know.
Hard to tell.
It looked like if the movie was set in college, that actress could have been the head cheerleader of the college squad.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's
She also says she cheers for her dad every night.
Oh God.
Yeah, that was horrible. And also there's multiple like Bring It On songs in the movie.
Yes. Where they're saying the words "Bring It On." Someone I think actually also says "Bring It On" maybe in the movie,
which I think we mentioned in the first movie for sure, and then barely in the second movie. Like nobody really says "Bring It On."
Mm-hmm.
They just say "Bring It," but they fully made up for that in this movie times 100.
Yeah,
they replaced "Bomb Diggity" with "Bring It On."
Oh, God.
Well, the new Bomb Diggity is like, "Oh, you speak I am" or whatever. Like that.
Oh
that's
my God.
That was the new thing.
Yeah.
They're like,
"Oh yeah, this movie is also brought to you."
Already dead.
This movie's already brought to you by Singular. She has a Singular phone. There's a bunch of Singular. There's a shitty banner. It's really
they even tell you to go to singularsource.com.
Yeah.
A cameo from Kiss FM's JoJo on the radio. Yay.
I didn't know who that was.
Yeah, me neither.
Well, he's LA, DJ.
Yeah.
Probably not anymore. I don't know. But yeah, do you guys want to take a picture right now?
Sure.
Okay, everybody smile and say soy cheese.
Oh,
no,
boy.
Do not do that. That was horrifying.
Oh, God. So many bad things in this movie. I'm trying to think of the other things that come back from previous films. They do bring back the word cheerocracy.
This one's not a cheerocracy.
Yeah, this is not a cheerocracy. And then
it's a cheertatorship.
That's right.
They make fun of Spirit Fingers.
Yep, they bring back Spirit Fingers, yes. I did initially like the start of this movie's tryout scene where normally it was a different type of tryout scene than we've seen previously where we're not watching like the individual people dance.
It's more of a dance tryout.
Yeah. I like they walk into the gym. There's like, I don't know, 60 people there waiting to try out. And they get up there and they're like, all right, you guys, now if you can't do this, and the girl like does a split, so like, you better get out of here. And immediately there's like, 10 people that stand up like, okay, fine, I can't do the splits. And then they're like, also, if you can't do this 6 backflips and a turn, you better get out of here. And I thought that was kind of funny to see it get whittled down to about 10 people. And then, they kind of like threw them right into it, learning a routine.
Get out of here.
You better get out of here.
So the main thing of this movie is that she has to move from Pacific Vista to Crenshaw Heights. Literally Crenshaw or possibly Lincoln Heights. But this would never happen now because the parents would just drive her, or she would probably live with one of her friends for her senior year. I know tons of people that did stuff like that when their parents had to, move or do a different job. They just lived somewhere else for their senior year. You don't move a kid in their senior year. You just don't. Not if they have any hope of going to college. But maybe she didn't care. So they move her. The new school, it's just she's so offensively oblivious, and the way that the movie portrays the school is also horrible.
You heard in the trailer that was the "What is this LAX?" because she had to get wanded down at the school.
Mm-hmm. Which is very mean because she accuses the security guard of sexually objectifying her, which he's just doing his damn job and waving her down. And she gets all, I'm a white lady, don't come near me or whatever. Mm-hmm. It's crazy. The teacher has to leave the room to go talk about a lockdown drill and a guy who's on parole. She gets, it's crazy because she parks in the parking lot and then is immediately sexually assaulted by a guy that is kind of ends up just being their friend. It's no big deal. This guy grabs her ass multiple times throughout this film and they're just kind of hey, don't do that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel even then, if you did that to somebody in high school, you would be in big trouble. But it's not cool. And so then it's confusing because that happens to her. And so then you're kind of well, she is in a bad situation. Maybe I should sympathize with her. But then she just goes so far, in the other direction.
She proceeds to be the worst person ever.
Yeah, it's really horrible. Yeah, it's bad. Even the way that the black people portray themselves is in some cases. It's really very strange.
It's really unfortunate because, like, we were talking during the first movie, like, oh, we would love to have spent more time with the Clovers and Gabrielle Union and that squad, and ostensibly that's like what this movie is trying to maybe give us, but the characters are, while they get more screen time, still not fleshed out, and basically they're just to serve, a Hayden Panettiere's
arc,
story arc, and her like growth or whatever. It's just like, they fumbled that as well terribly.
There is more tact and humility and empathy in Step Up 3D than there is in this movie.
This movie even turns into Step Up at one point.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting. There's a whole the lunch thing, the Shibuya roll call, like that's pretty well known now as like a thing that people do at camp and stuff, and they did it in The Office famously. But I tried to look it up, and like people seem to think that this movie was the first time that it was actually done like in media, and that like really popularized it.
Well, I actually pulled up. I found an article on that actually because I was wondering the same thing, because I was like, this is super familiar, and I found this article from 2014 written by Miriam J. Petty. That was kind of like an added on note to this. This kind of like long set of articles called In Focus that was dedicated to African American film and media studies. And apparently the roll call, there's a lot in those articles that they're talking about the roll call. And one of the places where they do the Shibuya roll call for the first time is in Spike Lee's Get on the Bus in 1996.
Okay.
And I thought this article was really interesting because they actually call out this movie in the article. Yeah. And I'm going to just read a little bit from it because I thought it would I thought it'd be interesting, and it's all, better said than I could ever do. It says, interestingly, the Shibuya roll call chant has been taken up in two subsequent film and television moments. First, here in 2006's Bring It On, All or Nothing, and next here, these are links they're talking about, in a moment of clearly intended ironic homage from the work bus episode of NBC's The Office. So the roll call is borrowed first in the white guilt-ridden angst of cultural appropriation that is the seemingly stock in trade of the Bring It On franchise of films. And it says, Hayden Panettiere's expression of awestruck confusion and discomfort and fascination says all this and more. And then in the self-deprecating humor of middle American whiteness that constitutes The Office, these restagings of a ritual tied to African-American cultural practices and their shared emphasis on the anxiety/humor that results when white people get black culture wrong, whether formally, ethnically, or, culturally, remind us that from Fred Astaire to Iggy Azalea, the stakes of cultural appropriation have less to do with the black identity than with white agency and access. And I thought that was very, very well put there.
Well, sadly, I mean, me personally, and probably way more people in this world have seen this movie instead of that Spike Lee movie that I have not seen. So I mean, it's out there. It's very, very, like, I started hearing kids in college doing this, like after I was already a TA, but they would do it. And I was like, what the heck is that? Because nobody did that back when I was in high school, but then they would, be doing it as a whole thing. So
yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, but there's a lot of other games like that too, that, like white versions. I mean, they do the one that the white people did in this movie, I didn't know of, but there's other things that are similar, like now this person goes and that person goes.
Right. Like the roll call type thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Or even like the Whose Line Is It Anyway? Irish drinking song or something.
Oh, yeah.
That, yeah. So
Totally.
Anyway, but yeah, it's interesting that even though this movie wasn't the one that originated it, it gets a lot of credit for spreading it around. Like if you look at, like on Urban Dictionary and stuff, it says it's from this movie. It's like, okay,
yeah,
whatever.
That makes sense. I mean,
yeah.
unfortunately.
I'm pretty sure that AIM was close to dead, if not completely dead already.
It was dead. I mean, we were in college.
It was not totally dead because I was still using it at work out here for a little bit, but it was probably dead with like.
Well, yeah, you were about to get your Facebook and you were not using your MySpace.
Just texting, yeah.
Yeah, because 2006 was still in college for me, and it was Instant Messenger was major.
I had just started college. Okay, so
wow, you know better than me. I'm kidding. Yeah. So again, this movie's terrible.
There's so much bad.
We'll keep talking.
Bad
about
imagery, like even just the whole like cheer whore, cheer pimp, like that stuff is like not. It's bad.
Yep.
And
it's also so bad it was so cringe and terrible to watch as the movie continues. And I swear you could you could skip through the movie and watch Hayden Panettiere's character slowly start to wear the exact same outfit as Solange Knowles and like also do her hair the same way. And she's wearing the same hoop earrings. And it just looks like, yep, that is the appropriation right there on the screen, even in the outfit. I'm like, she shows up at the end, like, I don't know. It just looked so bad. It looks so bad.
Yeah, and the crumping doesn't really lend itself to cheer the way a lot of the other dance styles we've seen being added have, and so it feels really, really forced when they add it into the thing.
And she looks it's so embarrassing watching her do it.
Yeah.
It's pretty embarrassing.
It's bad. And it's funny, in college when I was in band, we performed on Dancing with the Stars and we had to like play Get Down Tonight in the background and do our stupid white dance that we do. But then we had to like stop. And then these like black guys, I think one of them was white, came out and did a whole step routine, and we were like quiet, and then we came in and played again at the end. It's so stupid.
Oh my god.
You can find that probably on abc.com still. You can see me in it. But yeah, it was bad, and that reminded me of when they were doing their step moves.
The other thing that I thought was weird about the music, I was reminded of it during the crumping thing, that like it's so weird that they had all these huge songs for like just random moments, a lot of like, transition moments, or like someone's arriving at school, let's play a fun song that everyone knows. But then all the songs during the cheer routines or anytime they're dancing sounded like the most terrible like library tracks.
I mean, every song from Hollaback Girl is pretty much on this. Avril Lavigne is in this. Apparently, my favorite song of all time is in this movie.
Yeah, I heard it.
I don't know where it was. I saw it in the credits, but I didn't hear it during the movie.
Oh, I thought for sure. I mean, I think it's because it doesn't start with the opening
iconic thing. Where is it?
God, I don't remember anymore, but I definitely remember like, oh man, it's Elis's song.
Dirty Little Secret by the All American Rejects was like my ringtone in 2006 and for many years after.
Some random moment.
That was of the moment, I guess. But yeah, there's just really bad stuff. She gets out of her car and like runs into her house like she's scared, even though it's a perfectly fine.
I mean, all you need to know about this movie is after the main confrontation, the evil head cheerleader goes to Rihanna and says that we need to do something about this gang violence that was just perpetrated upon us.
Yeah.
And it was just like a dance battle. And then Riri's like, yeah, like I know where people come from, and that's why I'm gonna judge you. I'm not gonna judge them.
Yeah.
It's very confusing.
She just makes a couple faces like, I can't believe you said that, but then it doesn't like shoot her down any further.
Yeah, the fact that they still like Solange and Rihanna and all these people like still were like, we're gonna participate in this, just shows you how they thought that was probably as good as it's gonna get. At that time in 2005-06,
I don't want to presume that.
I mean, well, they did it. I don't, I'm sure that they, tried to make it better where they could, but you're not going to have like the most woke, like liberal, perfect movie. It's just not going to happen in a studio direct-to-video, like teen vehicle.
Yeah, they take time to spread the racism around too. They, of course, the one Asian cheerleader happens to know karate.
Oh my God, yeah.
And they also like sprinkle in a little a whole body shaming, fat shaming subplot.
Oh yeah,
yeah, on both teams.
Yeah,
it's not just the bad people that body shame. The good team also body shames one of their members, who they all love. Apparently,
make the movie worse. Yeah,
who's their friend.
Yeah.
They make fun of her for being fat and for having big boobs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they make fun of her eating chocolate at the end even. It's like
yeah, it's like on the by the way, before you go.
She's finally gets to eat some chocolate, and instead of being like eating it like a normal person, it's like all over her face to make her look like an idiot.
I mean, it's not even like she finally gets to eat some chocolate. She like passes out and has a medical emergency. She shoves a candy bar in her mouth, and it's like played for laughs.
Yeah, she's like, "Oh, I'm totally fine."
It's just like,
yeah,
like
after
the villain's
like,
she looks like she was in Wonka's chocolate factory.
It's like you think there's about to be a moment of reckoning about the anorexia that they've like forced this poor girl to adapt, or just the body shaming in general. She falls, and you're like, oh wow, they're gonna reckon with this, and then they just don't. It's just so crazy.
Yeah, I mean, the movie, it seemingly goes out of its way to hit all of the terrible things.
The last line in the movie at the end is one of the white girls coming up to the Crenshaw team and being like, "You look like you eat Twinkies."
Ugh.
And then it cut to fun credit sequence.
And
fun in quotes.
It's real bad.
One other thing they brought back for no reason was the song Mickey. But
they did?
No, it's Hey Britney.
I was going to say, was it just me? Or, I mean, it happens for like 2 seconds, and I'm pretty sure they were saying Hey Britney. And I was like,
hey,
wow.
Britney. Hey. It's like,
no. They really went through all the work to do that.
They sure did.
She has a seemingly alcoholic boyfriend.
Yeah, I was like, wait, he's in high school, and then like there's a point where they're going to homecoming, and he just has a drink at her parents' house.
Yeah, and then when they're at the dance, he's also like
a cocktail.
Yeah, he's like holding what looks like a wine glass at the dance the whole time. I'm like, oh god.
Yeah. That guy was horrible.
He was so bad.
He's bad. Although he has been in a ton of stuff.
Yeah,
and, I didn't notice him at all, but like he's in What We Do in the Shadows, the TV show.
Limitless.
Oh, really? Wait, who is he?
Got no limits. I think that's right.
He's Jeff. He's Nadia's the mortal who keeps getting reincarnated as the warrior.
Oh God, that's right. Oh my God, I didn't even notice
Jeff.
that.
Yeah. And they also find time to make fun of the vaguely Hispanic, but still not black guy, so that there's someone that she can have a romantic interest in on the new team. He talks about his grandparents, and she asks, "Oh, where did they immigrate from?" And he just laughs it off. Like
there was, yeah,
he says Brooklyn, doesn't he?
Yeah, but then he's not like, "Hey, that's really offensive. Like, why would you say that about me?"
There was like I started earlier today. I was like, oh, I should pull some fun audio clips quick while I still have the rental or whatever, because I didn't buy this one, thank God. But I started and I was like, I don't even want to do it for this movie. I don't want to dignify it, but I did. There was one funny line reading from that guy when they go to the beach. Tar Beach, and he like kisses her, and then she kind of freaks out and runs away, like seemingly before she would have even been like off the roof. He says like, "Who's scamming who?" or whatever. Like it's really serious, and I thought that sounded really funny. But I didn't pull any clips because fuck this movie. Did you guys see? How closely were you watching during the end credits?
Not closely.
Did you see that the board for when they start a scene said that the movie was called Bring It On Yet Again?
I did see that, actually. And I'm like, they should have kept that title. That was a way better title.
Yeah. I was like, no. Can't believe that.
That's what it felt like.
It did, yeah.
I like that title better.
Yeah, that would have been funny. but it still would have been a terrible movie.
She at some point does actually get that guy to stop sexually assaulting her by sexually assaulting him back in a show of force, which is not good, but at least then he didn't do it anymore after that.
I guess. I feel like that wouldn't work out very well for most people. I wouldn't try it.
Yeah, it's this movie has really random like tonal shifts. It goes from being like it's clean to like, okay, now we've got middle fingers everywhere and jokes about small balls and like
well, yeah, and at the start of the movie it's like from Universal Family Entertainment, and I was like, so this is going to be a little like more family film. Not the case. It's rated PG-13, I think. So, and I hope to God no one's showing this to their children.
I didn't know this, but my roommate pointed out to me that the girl who was Letty is the girl that gave Selena Gomez her kidney, and now they don't talk anymore.
What?
Wait, what?
You didn't know about this?
No.
Selena Gomez's best friend gave her a kidney, but now they're not friends anymore for some reason.
Oh my God.
And that's her. So I hope she can still dance.
Okay.
That's crazy.
Jesus.
That's crazy. I didn't know anything about that.
You didn't know that? Yeah, she had a kidney transplant. She has like a weird disease. I don't know. The main horrible girl. What's her name? Oh, Winnie.
Winnie. Oh,
she's not the poo. Thank God. And she is on General Hospital. She's like Luke and Laura's daughter.
Oh wow.
If you've heard of Luke and Laura, the famous.
No, I was more of a Days of Our Lives type.
I think she might have been on Days also, but
they probably were. They've all been.
It's a really famous moment in television history, the whole Luke and Laura wedding thing. But yeah, she's their daughter.
Well, she is a horrible person in this movie. I'm sure
she is.
Hopefully, she's nice in general in real life, but the character was terrible.
In General Hospital?
In General Hospital, yeah.
General Hospital, I think people hated her at first because she was a recast, but then I think, of course, they probably got over it at some point.
One other thing I love about this film, like the whole movie is about how they just got it. Okay, first of all, I was like, I think someone had said after we finished recording last week that like, oh my God, Rihanna's in this. And I was like, what? And I was not expecting it to be like Rihanna as herself.
No, me neither.
Which was a surprise when she's, Britney's driving in the car and then it's like Rihanna's hosting a cheer thing. A couple other things I thought that was hilarious as far as, the franchise. Apparently by movie 3, cheerleading has become such a major thing that there is now a whole television network dedicated to it.
Cheer TV.
Cheer TV. Yeah. Where
probably just like an online network like Joe Exotic TV or something.
Yeah, but they were watching it on, I guess, I don't know. They were watching it on their televisions like every day.
YouTube couldn't handle that.
That's
there
right.
There might be a satellite channel. I don't know. Yeah, they really bet well on Rihanna because she only had one song out, like 1 to 2 songs, SOS and Pon de Replay.
Yeah.
Like this was before even Umbrella. So, if Rihanna hadn't turned out to be so incredibly famous after, this movie would look real stupid now. But
You'd be like,
it's like, oh, okay, cool, Rihanna,
Yeah. And I love that, like, yeah, the whole movie, they're like building up like, oh man, we got to win this competition. We're going to be in a live performance with Rihanna. And like, as soon as they announce the winner at the end, they find out that instead they've been trapped in a horrible music video. That's like, like the movie ends like, yeah, we won. And then it freeze frames and it's like honeycomb things start coming in and I'm like, what the fuck is happening? Is this the end credits? And no, it was like the terrible music video they were in for Pon de Replay. And I thought it was so funny because it's clearly all like blue screen, but then also when they show them dancing in a blue screen stage, it looked like Rihanna was like blue screened into that scene. So I
think she was.
Yeah, I thought that was really Inception of them. That was funny.
Yeah.
But again, this movie's awful. Don't watch it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Watch something else.
The WNBA has a lot of product placement.
I didn't even notice.
I did not notice that either.
Well, there's like a big WNBA poster in the school, and then the main MC of the competition is a WNBA player.
Oh, right.
They talk about her.
Swin Cash.
She says that Rihanna is one of her closest girls, which I wonder if that's true. We'll see.
We'll find out.
So yeah, the final competition. It's
Did
like,
give her a kidney.
Yeah, it's like a third of the movie is the final competition scene,
and it's boring. It's real boring.
Well, I know several people in this scene from college. And my roommate freshman year is in this movie. She was on the USC cheer team, which is different than the Song Girls or the Spirit Squad. They're like competition cheer. They do the stunts, they do all that stuff, but they are not allowed to play at any sports games whatsoever, or the Song Girl coach will stop them. So much so that they were not allowed to wear their normal USC cheer. They are wearing them in this movie, but they had to put a megaphone sticker over the USC because of the branding of people might get confused and think those are the USC cheerleaders or song girls. And so, but the little megaphone sticker they have doesn't really cover the USC on most of the girls. And so it just looks like there's part of letters sticking out of a megaphone, and like it's clearly not actually part of the uniform.
Oh God.
And it's real bad. She told me that they were just stuck in that warehouse for hours and hours and hours and hours and hours, cheering and cheering and cheering and cheering and cheering for all the things. So if you notice, the audience is cheering for everything, for both other teams,
right?
Which would probably not be the case if they all were people that lost, because there's no regular audience. It's only other competitors. so
that's
true.
So you're
this
saying
is like an off the books
movie felt a lot like watching this movie.
Yeah. So I know she was in it, but my roommate, and I'll ask her later if she wants to talk about it, but like she has multiple kids and doesn't care about podcasts or movies or anything now, but she was on this team for 1 year only. And this is when we were roommates. And she is so short that she almost got a handicap pass. She was really pissed when she grew the extra inch because she could no longer get it for driving. And so I was like, there's no way I'm going to be able to see her. But I finally did get one glance of her. She was like standing up on that like wooden balcony thing they had constructed, and she has like a little pom-pom, and she's like waving it around for like 1 second. And then there's another shot of another girl that I knew pretty well from because the year after this movie, they created a whole nother third set of spirit people at USC that was the Spirit Squad, and that girl switched. So there's a huge, like, she gets a really big close-up moment in the crowd shot at some point. But yeah, there's a bunch of USC people there, and they're all spread out because I think their uniforms look so bad with the stupid sticker that they like purposely didn't put them like together. Like you can see the other ones like Orange Coast College, Long Beach City College, Cerritos College, like all these other community college cheer teams that they brought are all like together and performing, but the USC people, they just spread them out because that sticker looks awful.
Yeah, this whole ending part is stupid because it's like the whole thing is like, oh, everyone's going to perform in front of these judges, and then the final two are going to perform only for Rihanna. And it's like, so there's all this buildup, and you're like, there's no tension at all about who's going to be the final two. And they make a big deal about announcing who the, top two squads are. And you're like, oh, okay, well, no shit.
And even if that was the case, and I know the final thing is about repressing Rihanna, not the judges, to completely, not that I want to be on the side of the evil white girl, but to completely interrupt another team's performance and just like boot them off the stage is kind of messed up.
Yeah, in like brand new outfits that they apparently had with them.
Yeah.
Nothing says the streets like military camo.
Oh, God.
Mm-hmm.
I think that we could have I mean, at this point, we could probably write a thesis paper about empty warehouses, sound stages, or other things that have been dressed up to look like some sort of high school dance or competition. I feel like that we are now experts in this field of study.
I was like, oh God, we've already we've already like devolved into just a dance off in this movie.
A dance off would be so much better. If it was a Step Up dance off, like it would have started raining inside. There would have been like lights and fireworks.
Well, I expect the next movie to end with them having to sing or something.
Oh yeah, maybe.
I mean, I don't know. They're all dressed up like Hayden's character like almost looks like what's her name? Is it Andy from Step Up 2? Is it? I can't remember her name.
Yeah, Andy.
I can't
like
remember.
She wears those same kind of hats and like it looked like they were styling it exactly after her. And it totally turns into like they don't. It was really weird because they weren't doing as much like cheering at that point. It really looked like they were trying to do like a Step Up thing, which I did not like because Step Up is better than this.
Yeah, it's
maybe instead of bringing it on, they should have stepped up, right?
Yeah.
That was
and
dumb.
yeah, it's a shame that this one is more well known than the second one, because I think the second one actually was better, although it was made for $5.85 or whatever. Like this one clearly had a bigger budget, which they like totally blew on probably the music
on the Gwen Stefani song.
Hayden Panettiere, Solange and Rihanna, you know, like
it's like you know when you have Beyonce's sister in the movie, you gotta get Gwen Stefani.
That's right.
And I mean, I thought that Solange was pretty good.
Her character just doesn't have anything to do, like. There's not much going on with her.
Get that moment. But anytime she did have like a moment with someone, like I thought she was, you know, acting well. Hayden Panettiere is fine, but the character she's playing is so hateful and oblivious. Like you don't. I mean, these protagonists in these Bring It On movies and many teen movies that we have seen, they, you know, they need to be like a base level of likable, so you like them, and then you see them making the wrong choices, and you're kind of like, oh no! But then by the end, they make the right choice and they do right by their friends and whatnot. But this girl was so horrible from the beginning that even when she does do right by everybody at the end, you're just kind of like, ugh.
It seems so fake. The whole thing.
And
the way she totally transforms into like, just like full on. Like I said, like everything. The way she has fully transformed into looking like, you know, everyone else at the school.
There's a point where she gets up and she's gonna fight this other girl, and she asks her boyfriend to like hold her hoopy rings.
Yeah, God. Because she's like getting mad at the girl for saying racist stuff, but then she immediately acts incredibly racist, starts twerking on the dance floor. She does this. The scene where she does "This should be a roll call" at the white dance is like horrifying, because then it's like bad. It's not even that it's part of the routine and she has to do it to be with everybody. No, it's just she's doing it, she's invoking it on her own, and it's horrible.
Yeah, it's real bad.
Yeah,
like she looks horrible doing any of the particularly like hip-hop moves later, even at the very end, but at least then it's like, okay, well the whole team's doing it, you know, like whatever. But it's just when she does it by herself, it's really bad.
Yeah, well, I don't know. When was Heroes? Was she like, man, I think
I was right after here, right before Heroes.
I was like, I was so good.
Shot.
I was so good as a cheerleader. I'm going to be the cheerleader from now on.
Well, that cheerleader was better.
Oh yeah, for sure. Ugh, man.
She was friends with a black guy and a Japanese guy. It didn't matter if she fell in cheerleading.
That's right. God, so stupid. Well, I don't.
I think that's it.
I don't have anything else to say. But Tyler, do you? What? We still got to have a rating system. So,
you're gonna make me give a rating system?
Well, we still got to
sure
dress it down.
How many? Oof.
New computers.
New computer. You could email. How many? I was gonna say how many singular telephones.
Oh yeah.
How many singular telephone family plans?
Yeah.
You know, I'm just gonna go ahead and give this one a 1 because I think it's just awful. Like I don't want anyone to watch it. You know, maybe I don't want to say that there was ever a time where it's like, this was a great movie when it first came out. But I'm, you know, I get that there's people that like this, but nowadays, I just don't see any point in going back to watch this movie. Like, you know, some movies that we talk about that have, you know, problematic moments are like, there's good things that outweigh those moments and make it like, oh, this is like actual, you know, decent cinema to watch. This is not worth watching. Don't do it. And the things, the opportunities to give more voice to, you know, another squad filled with, you know, various people of color, like, is just totally squandered in this movie. And they're just basically there to prop up Brittany's story and allow her to, you know, grow in her understanding of other people. And basically throughout the movie, everything that ends up helping them is like a Brittany idea. And it's like, that's not even the like to add in the crumping. That was her idea. It's not good. It's not good.
No, it's definitely bad. I don't know. I think I feel a little bit kinder toward it. I don't know why, but I guess just because it is like a passable film. Like, it, you know, it did have a bigger budget. The actors are mostly fine, you know, but it's just like the writing and the cultural appropriation that's really bad. It had a lot of songs that were good.
There were so many songs.
So does now. That's what I call music.
That's true. Yeah, that is what I call music.
There's so many songs there.
Yeah, I think I'll give it 2 singular wireless phones, just because, you know, I can see why some people liked this when it came out, but yeah, by now you should all know better. We should all know better. And you're right, there is no reason to go revisit it, you know, other than to see, you know, how far we've come, I suppose. But you know, that said, like, you can't be like, wow, Hayden Panettiere should be ashamed or whatever. You know, it's not about that. And I don't, you know,
no,
they just needed more people of power to say no and to correct them and to step up or stand up and say, like, this is not cool. We need to do this.
This ultimately falls on the director. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that's intentional here. And the thing that is tricky with it is that just line by line, the Cabin Fever movies are far more offensive than this movie.
Mm-hmm.
But those movies didn't make me as angry as this movie did. And I think that the reason for that is that there's nobody going out and imitating or doing things from the Cabin Fever movies and thinking that those people are normal people,
right, or
that they're fun. But for this movie, I think that there is a lot of behavior that is mimicable and codified and made okay by a lot of impressionable young girls and guys. That's one thing I will say, that the male cheerleaders are probably the most complete characters that aren't caricatures in this movie.
I think they still get called cheer queers though.
They do. They do.
Not good.
The last movie had a horrible scene that we didn't even talk about. And I think that that's the difference. I think that while there's movies that are actually trying to offend, there's movies that are actually trying to you know, be extreme. This movie is passing everything off like this is a normal story and that it's okay. And it's the casual nature of it that is so problematic.
And somebody that behind this thought they were doing a great thing. And when you don't have Black people or, you know, and people, multicultural people in positions of power to be like, no, that's not the case. But instead, it was probably just a bunch of white people patting themselves on the back for showing this representation and showing that the Black team could be better than the white team. And showing that this girl made Black friends or whatever. And there was, you know, all the Black people involved, obviously, you know, either didn't feel comfortable or weren't able to get their point across that, you know, this is probably not great.
I don't think it has to do with the script because it is written by a Black female screenwriter, which I just looked up. So it sounds like maybe there's a meta narrative of a white guy coming in and fucking that up too.
punching it up.
Yeah.
By punching down.
Entirely possible.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry, Tyler, I interrupted your rating.
Oh yeah, I don't know. I'll give it one singular cellular telephone. I did not enjoy watching this movie.
Yeah, it was
and that's all I have to say about it.
Well, guess what, you guys? You know, that one's done. That one's done, okay? It's done. Don't worry about it. But, you know, this movie was directed by Steve Rash. And lucky us if it isn't the case that he also directs the next one.
Oh.
Yay.
It looks like Alison Faust writes the next one as well. So
okay, well,
we'll see what happens. What is the title and how many years from
it's
now?
the very next year. So
oh wow,
okay, we could be in for another of the same movie. But it's called Bring It On, In It to Win It.
Okay. Oh, another thing is that also the poster for this one makes it look like Solange and Hayden Panettiere on two different teams, like competing against each other. And again, they use the UCLA and USC colors, even though the rich team didn't even have USC colors in this movie. So it's I don't know why they always do that for the cover to try and make you think it's like the first movie.
I don't know
because this is still blockbuster times where you could literally make a profit by parents renting the wrong movie.
That's true. That's true. Oh God,
it was a whole business model.
Well, I think that's going to mercifully bring us to the end of this week's episode on Bring It On, All or Nothing. But
and O-Town wasn't even in it.
That's right. That was a failure. But Eliz, so in the meantime, where can people reach out to us?
Yeah, you can email us about this movie, any movies, your memories of O-Town to sequelrights@gmail.com, or find us on social media, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube, where I am catching up, despite where I fell behind posting the episodes, at Sequel Rights.
And yeah, rate and review us on Apple Podcasts if you can. While you're there, go ahead and subscribe to 1619. As we said previously, it's a great podcast to educate yourself. There's a bunch of other great podcasts out there, and other resources and things that you should be watching other than these movies.
Yes, please take a moment to click the links in our show notes here, and around on our socials and everything, and help do what you can to help out, keep the movement going. And we'll see you guys next week, where hopefully things will turn around. Please God, I hope.
Bring it on again.
Bring it on. Yeah, exactly. In it to win it. See you guys.